Hey guys, welcome to our first video since last year, probably near this time anyways, maybe a little later. Haven't been doing them this year as much. Uh, no real reason, I guess, just been busy. Looking after the boy here. I got my little girl at school this year now, so I drive her to and from school every day. I guess people wonder why I'm not doing much else. I drive truck for a living. I work seasonally, take the winters off, so that I can look after the kids. Saves on our daycare. Yeah, mommy's at work. My hours are insane for 8 months of the year. Thus, I need a bit of a break as well. So I take the winter off to recoup, look after the kids, spend some time with them, and yeah. So I'm a little bit not as busy, I guess, this time of year. So thought I'd throw one of these videos out. Few things to go over, I guess, in the video. My break. Yeah, I'll go through the video stuff here. Just want to go over a couple of things that have been going on with the league. Starting off with Boston. We've got a team open. It's a rare spot for us in the last few years, and we've never been able to really have an empty team last for very long. Generally, we're carrying a little loud, buddy. Hammer a little quieter. Use your screwdriver. He's playing with his toys over there. Normally have a waiting list. We've used that waiting list over the last couple of years. We've had a bit of a transition with the league the last few years. We have a Boston team open. And if anyone does know anybody that's interested and serious about the league, send them my way. I have been looking, Wolf's been looking a little bit between the Barracuda shows and some of the other guys, I guess, as well. We want somebody who can take that team and not just blow it up and make a mess of it. It is one of our premier franchises, the way it's been built. So we do want somebody that's serious about it. They can certainly make it on their own. I have no problem with that. But we don't want a shitty GM being in there, or maybe a rookie. That's tough, but I'm not against that at this point. We don't have a waiting list currently. There are a couple of names on there, but this time they don't have the time, so they're going to stay on the list. You go get a drink, buddy. Go grab a drink. Okay. So that's our first thing to go over. One of the other things people need to pay attention to is our goalie, the goalie minutes rule. We're coming up on the point now where some of the teams that haven't been sending lines so much are going to start running out of minutes. I have the list here where we're at with that. You're only allowed 4,200 minutes for the season. There is a team now, I think, at 3,600. Pekka Rinne has played the most minutes. He's at 3,400 and change. So he's got under 600 minutes left, which is less than 10 games, so 8-9 games. And then he'll be suspended. Now, the other issue you're going to run into with this is once he's suspended, he's still counting against your cap, and you're going to need to have a second goalie on the roster, which will go against your cap as well. So teams that are coming up on that is Minnesota, St. Louis, and the Rangers, Ottawa, Arizona, Detroit, Boston, Toronto are all over 3,000 minutes played already. You've got 1,200 left. I think it takes you about, I don't know, I guess you're looking around the 70 game mark or so, 72 game. Just depends how many overtime you get before you're running into that. But, when a team's got 57 games played, you're starting to run into it. So it's going to affect your cap. It's going to affect some of these teams for playoff teams. So down your stretch, having to play backup goalies. There's still a month for the trade deadline, so you've got some time to make a move, to add another goalie, pick up some of those minutes, do what you got to do. But those are being tracked, and they will be suspended after the 4,200 minute mark. And you'll be getting nailed with an extra cap hit, bringing another goalie on the roster. So just be aware of that. So that's coming up quick. I'll be starting to do a tracking post on the forum as well as we get a little closer. but I thought I'd make people aware. We have expansion coming up in the off season. Be aware of that as well. People aren't obviously noticing. I've seen some people trading more for the protected list than anything else. Couple things we've had, I think 7 maybe UFAs re-signed. If they are re-signed as a UFA, then they are going to be on your protected list no matter what. So if you happen to re-sign too many or at a position or just too many in general, then you could lose out on some of your better players. So be aware of what the rules are. Go over them again. They are pretty in-depth, but they're pretty self-explanatory. So go over that list again. Make sure you're in good shape. Make sure you have the minimum requirements because that's going to affect you. If you don't, you're going to be losing somebody high-end. I know we have a team that's got to make a move on a goaltender because the only goaltender they have right now is Carey Price, who matches what they would need to expose. So, that's a big loss if he gets into the expansion draft. I'm sure Vegas is going to jump on that, right? So, just using that one as an example, but meet your minimum requirements. You're going to have to sign a goaltender, and there are some other teams in the same type of situation. So, you need to have those minimum pieces to make it work, and we're going to be strict on it. So, that's the way it's going to go. We're getting on to the signings. We are now fully on top of the signings. We had a bit of a lull when we first got started there. I think we opened it up just early January, and a lot of guys coming after Christmas and the holidays and such. On the staff, we all kind of took a bit of a break. We're still checking in on the league, but we weren't really focused on checking, receiving emails, or okay. Need some of the other things, and I'll get you some more. Okay. Yes, sure. So we are on top of that now. We've added another staff member to make up for a loss on Andrew. Those who don't know, Andrew from Columbus. He has moved on from his sim hockey career in every league that he was in. Kind of a surprise because he was a very hands-on guy, but he's just lost interest completely in sim hockey. So it's better that he stepped down and let somebody take over the team that is interested. We'll miss some of the staff member. He was really good. Never caused issues. Happy to have him around. So hopefully he changes his mind at some point and comes back. For now, he is gone, and there was a name change within that division before we brought in the new GM for that, and just swapped the names, Columbus to New Jersey and vice versa. Everybody's aware of that, so that's not a big deal. Roster's nothing changed asset wise, so and schedule didn't even change. It's just a name change on the team itself. So that was easy and done. We wish Andrew well. What else we got? I'm not sure what else we do. We've got the trade deadline expansion of the cap coming up. That's going to occur the 11th, I believe it is, or 12th of March. It's a Sunday. After that sim, that morning, or probably that morning, the cap will be increased to $75 million. It's not as big a jump as last year, but our rules do state it's supposed to be within 5 to 10% to the nearest 5 or 10 value. So like 75 mil or 80. So basically my options were to go to 80, which was over a 10% increase, or to do 75 million. And so that's what I went with for this year. Just projecting next year's cap is 73. So next year an increase on that one will likely be closer to the 10%, taking it likely to 80 when we expand next year's cap. But for this year, it's 75, which gives people an additional 3.6 to play with. Still have the cap hits and protecting salary and things like that you guys can do. So I still expect a busy deadline. Probably quite busy, I would think, because there's going to be many more UFAs this year, given the expansion rules. So should be a busy next month here coming up on the season. It's been a bit quiet for trades this year, but I think it's because a lot of people had dealt with their rosters early on, and they're sitting in a position with the expansion coming where they like to be right now. I think there'll be less trades maybe, but a lot more bigger name trades could happen. I know I have a few big ones in the works myself on some things, so we'll see what happens. Okay. Grab him an applesauce. Wait 1 second. Okay. Last one.
Why do you need to run?
There you go.
Why do you need to run?
Oh, because I'm busy for a second. There you go. Okay, sorry about that delay. So, everything else still the same. Got myself simming now until I go back to work. My break's coming to an end here shortly, probably another month maybe, and then I'll be full bore on work again, and I'll probably be having to pass back the duties over to Eric, so he can let Barracuda know he'll be a little less available for the VIP room for playing hockey sticks there with some of the male patrons. But, so his time will be coming down to a little bit of an end there as well. So it's likely he'll be simming our playoffs. If something happens where either one of our teams get into the finals or something like that, we do pass the simming over. We have Tom as an option who's done it before for us. I'm not sure who else has a sim right now in our league, so I guess Joe probably would, and we know his team ain't going to make the playoffs. He has 3 wins on the year to the state, so pretty rough. So he's always an option, I guess, to sim if we really had to. Some others, perhaps. Just give me 1 second. All right, so just thought I'd try something a little more fun this time rather than calling guys, which I might do again on the next one as we get closer to the deadline. I'll probably do a few more of these. Did some Ask the Commish questions. We'll start off with, let's see, got a few good ones. I didn't get a lot of participation, but I did get some. I'll go with the first one. Is from Tom. It's, if you were drafting a new team today, who would be my first pick? So I think this would be if we, I don't know, either an NHL league or any of these leagues. Starting from fresh, first pick overall. I know my sim experience winning in the past, the number one thing I found you needed to win is an absolute number one defenseman. And I've won with Pronger, Lidstrom. Never had Chara, but I did have Pronger and Lidstrom. I had them together actually for a while back in the day. I think number one D is massive. However, with that said, right now in the league, you got to also take into trade value. And without question, McDavid is the one who I pick. Chances are I would be trading him for a big package, including a number one defenseman. So it's also about asset management. So for me, that's likely what I'd do is I would draft McDavid, and then I would trade him. There'd be definitely teams that would pay the price for him. I don't think there's really any other options right now. Everyone else is definitely below that a step. So that would be my first pick for sure. Another one I've got here is from Dustin. Since you've been to so many of Eric Wolf's Barracuda shows, is he a really good dancer, as he thinks, in my opinion? So I actually haven't been to any of the Barracuda shows. I live in the other side of the province, but I do know who lives close by, and that is Dustin. It's also Matt, our GM from Winnipeg. And I was actually told by Wolf the other day that both those guys were there. So through text message, they let me know that both Dustin and Matt were in there checking things out and spending some time in the back room. So that's the answer for that one. Trent asked me, who's my favorite non-NHL hockey game or event to attend for juniors, college, prep, that sort of thing. I'm going to take this question in a couple of ways because it wasn't super clear, but now that I read it again, I think I get it. My favorite non-NHL game would definitely be Oshawa Generals games or Peterborough Pete's. Big rivalry. I live kind of north of Oshawa and west of Peterborough. I'm in between both. I am a Generals fan. That's the team I liked when I was all through college. I went. We don't have any more, buddy. No, just have some more of your other stuff there, okay? Yeah, in a minute. You had one. So yeah, Oshawa Generals games for junior, no question, and nothing beats an Oshawa Peterborough game. That is an incredible thing to do. And actually, now that I think about it, Trent last year asked me, he was coming for a road trip over here where he was going to hit a whole bunch of junior games. I'm pretty sure that was Trent that did that. I'm curious how you made out with that. He asked me some advice on whether he could make a game from Mississauga over to Oshawa on a Sunday, I think it was. How much time he had to travel, things like that. So I'm wondering how that went. College hockey here is very mediocre compared to what it is in the States. I know. But you get your puzzles in. Then you get prep league. We don't have that here. We've got men's league hockey and meet and greets and others. So I'm not sure where that falls. Meet and greets, I don't know. I haven't done a whole lot, or any really, in years. Yeah, I know they do autograph signings for guys and things like that. I more run into them, at something where they're Alan Stanley's there or something like that. Your buddy there, a lot of them there. Theo Fleury, I see him when I was working at West. I was doing training in Calgary. We were stuck with no vehicle at the hotel right beside the Deerfoot Casino, I think it's called. We were at the hotel right there, and the only place to drink at the bar right beside it was in the casino. So we'd go there and drink every night. Sure enough, Theo was there every single night playing craps. And that's like, it's more things like that than meet and greets. Not really into that. I'm not an autograph chaser. If I had the chance to meet Neely or something, I would do that for sure. And other non-hockey events, I don't really have any. I don't go to concerts, anything like that. I used to a few years ago, but not many. I wasn't into that too much. We did more things outside camping and field parties and stuff like that. I wasn't big into that. Did a couple Edge Fests, things like that, but that was about it. I want you to do your other puzzles, the wooden ones. Do your shark one and stuff, okay? So I think that covers most of that question. If it gets into favorite teams, in junior, I explained that Boston College would be a college team. Men's league, I don't know. I played. I haven't a couple years since I got the kids busy. I spend away my hours are in the summer and fall. I don't like being a part-time player, so I'd rather fill in or play some shinny or something instead. And that's about covers that question. So that one was kind of good. That was a good question. Tom asked me another one, which is a really good question. Just a sec here. Text there. Really good question. It was rank the top 5 or 10 best GMs you know by skill, any league that I'm in. This one I took a lot of thought on. This was a really good question. I went with ranking 10, and even at 10, I ended up, actually I had 9, and then 3 or so that are just off the board. It took a lot of thought. I thought back to the original PHL days. I thought back to the VHL, MRFHL, which is Maurice Richard Fantasy Hockey League. I know there's a few guys that have been in that. I think Tom was in that at one point. I know Ron was. Eric's been in it. Andrew was in it. A few different guys. So there's a few guys from that one. I was in that league since 06. I only left it last year. Just lack of time, and that league just kind of turned down from what it used to be. It used to be a really premier league. I thought of some of the other leagues that I posted about there a couple months back, what leagues we'd all been in over the years, and none of them really stood out too much. So a lot of the guys have crossed over anyways, so there's no real standouts from any of that. So I went with an honorary list to begin with. The first one on that list He's actually currently not even a GM technically. He is in our league, sort of. And that would be Andre Dubois. I would put him just off my board in my top 10. No, your shark puzzle.
Which one?
Shark and your cat cars and or the cows. Okay.
Cups.
Yeah, do those ones. So Andre would be just off my board of the top 10, and that the hard thing I had with this question, there's so many facets to look at. He asked specifically about skill. Okay. He asked specifically about skill in question, but I'm expanding it. There's so many different things. There's aspects that come in not just with the skill, but there's the skill of sending lines. There's a skill of, not just sending them, but actually being able to balance and make them work. There's skills in cat management. It's huge in the VHL. It's not even a need for in the PHL. Things like your social skills amongst the rest of the league. If you're a jackass, you're not going to make deals with guys because guys won't be able to stand you. So there's the social skills. There's the actual skill of trading, winning trades, being able to project prospects, asset management. There's so many different things that come into it. So when I weighed this question, I tried to take part of that all into it. Andre, to me, is one of the ones that he's never won. That's the other thing. Winning has got to be a part of it. Being able to complete your mission to win a championship. Andre hasn't been able to do that, which is part of why he's not in my top 10. But his sense of numbers and contracts and finding comparable players, his asset management was strong when he was in Washington. He rebuilt the team and came back up again. He took it all the way to the. He was a competitor, dropped the team off, did a quick rebuild, and right back into it a couple years later. So he's able to balance the assets real well and things like that. So that's why I had him in my grouping of the top GM, but not in the top 10. It's a tough list to crack. Yeah. The other one, another one just off the top 10 to me, is Brian Hull. His commitment to the leagues is the biggest reason I would put him in a group of GMs that I think are a strong group. He is the Detroit GM in the PHL. He's the Islanders GM in the VHL. He's been an original member, and as long as I can remember, he sends lines almost daily since the very beginning. He hasn't won anything. He has kind of balanced around the mediocre list as far as, he doesn't bottom out, but he doesn't finish in the top end, which was why I keep him out of the top 10. But he is another GM that I think, as far as line sending, things like that, commitment to the league, makes him a very, very strong GM. The next one off my big board would be TJ McCarthy, who many of you would remember. Some of the newer guys will not. He was the Calgary Flames GM for the VHL. I think that was after a name change, but he was one of the original VHL staff members as well. Young kid when he came in, he was in the PHL as well. He was the Islanders, and he was also another team at the same time, which is part of the reason I put him in here. He was known as Two-Team TJ for a reason, and then he was managing two teams for a little while until he got caught. He was 13 when he started in that league, the only guy that young we'd ever had in any of these leagues. By the time he was 15, he was an important staff member, and he was very involved in the PHL as well. He's one of the guys that I still miss to this day as far as the leagues. I like talking to the guy. He was quite a few years younger than me, but he was smart. He knew his hockey and loved it. I really don't know why he disappeared from it, but he was actually a really, really good GM back in the day, so that's why I put him off my list. I don't know how I lost him there. I must have moved somebody out. Number 9 then would be the GM from the San Jose Sharks in the PHL, and that's Jimmy Howden. Many conference finals within the PHL. He never did win the championship. He had a contending team many years. Just year after year, he was in the conference championship. Never got to the final trophy, but that's why I put him in there at number 9. Very good GM. Really good at trading. Smart. Doesn't make many mistakes. Number 8 would be Aaron Brown. He's the,
Yes, we do it one.
yes,
Now.
good job, bud. Ottawa Senators GM in the VHL, Aaron Brown. He is the PHL's New York Rangers GM. It was a contending team in the original PHL days, constant rival of mine. Moved to the VHL. We battled in the same division for many years as he's in Ottawa. He has won a championship in the VHL. He won it in 2012 or 13. Finally got the monkey off his back. He ran up against me a lot of times in the playoffs, and it was kind of the battle of two of the elitist teams for the longest time. And real competitor, real rider. He's one of the guys I absolutely respect in the leagues. Level-headed guy, never loses his mind. He's very, very knowledgeable in hockey. Very busy with his work in his real life. Thus, we don't see as much of him anymore, which is kind of sad. But definitely a well-respected, very skilled GM. Danced around the cap for a long time, being able to stay and not be a rebuild team. So I give him a lot of credit. And it's his championship that puts him ahead of Jimmy. Next on that list would be Trent Minnick. I would put him as a very skilled GM. He hasn't finally completed that goal of the championship yet, but he's sitting in a position where I believe he's the first place team in our Eastern Conference in the VHL as Columbus / New Jersey. It was New Jersey, we changed the name. So he is the first seed right now, best record in the East. And then in the PHL is the Calgary Flames, which is another team that is fantastic in that league. So he's built that team up. He's been I think in that league maybe 4 years now, something like that. Makes a lot of really smart moves as the GM. He didn't accomplish his goal of a win there, but I still think he's on the upswing in both leagues with his teams. Really good to trade with, really knowledgeable, builds his teams up really well. They're strong, they last. So even though he hasn't won the championship, he's got a lot of skill, and thus I put him in that list. The next one I would put on that list really hurts me to say, but at number 6 I would put Joe Brodsky. His skill is he's a skilled GM. The biggest factor I think that makes him more skilled GM is he had a success with the PHL where he completely nosedived and built it up from nothing. He hit on his prospects and made a win. He got his championship last year in the PHL. But I'm not sure. I think part of his skill is that he's intimidating to a lot of other guys. They're scared to trade with him because they saw how many first-round picks he's done and achieved, and then guys don't want to deal with him because they think he's raping them all the time. The rape dust factor. A lot of that is I think we had some poor GMs in the PHL at the time, and he took advantage. And guys can't see the long-term effect in a keeper league where you can keep building them up and trading 2 guys for 1 better player. And that's what he did. That's all he did. Easily done there. Teams that are near the bottom need to spread out, get a little deeper, and he would just keep upgrading. In a keeper league, it's easy to do that and just sustain it. In the VHL, where there's a cap, I don't think it's as easily done. You have to be a lot better with numbers and cap management and asset management. So while I think he is a highly skilled GM, he knows his prospects very well, I don't think he's being as successful doing the same thing in the VHL. 1, guys are watching out when they're trading with him. 2, his prospects aren't hitting as often. Part of that prospect hitting is being lucky. You've got, it's easy to pick Austin Matthews when you win the lottery or Connor McDavid when you win the lottery. It doesn't necessarily make you a good GM. It makes you partly lucky. So luck does play into some of his factor, but I think his intimidation of guys not wanting to trade with him is what brings his skill level up. We'll see how his plan goes in the VHL. He's got a lot first, but I don't know. I think you need to know when to trade those in for other assets too, but that's just me. So I put him on the list, and it hurts to do so because I like being a rival of his. Number 5 for me is Andrew Mielnicek. He's the former Columbus GM in our league who just stepped down, former staff member, former PHL, Chicago Blackhawks. He took an absolute disaster of that team that was into PHL that Kelly brought and she destroyed that team big time back in the day. There was absolutely nothing when he took over the team, and he sat it out and turned it into a monster of a team. Within, I think it took him maybe 4 or 5 years, but it had nothing, absolutely nothing for assets. So what he did and be able to build that team into what it is to pass on to the next guy is incredible. His Columbus team also never won anything in the VHL, but he also left that team in absolutely fantastic shape for the next GM. So that's why I have him on that list. At number 4, I would put Tom Jervis, our LA King GM for the VHL and the commissioner of the PHL, Minnesota Wild. Same. The reason he's up so high, he hasn't achieved that championship, but he's also been in the finals many times. He's been to the conference championships. He was a massive contender in the early days of the PHL, and then completely rebuilt the team down to absolutely nothing. 0 assets almost again. That team blew it up so bad. And then he turned it back around, and it's a runaway favorite this year again in the PHL. So the skill to be able to do that and to do it quickly, the number of trades he makes, the easiest to deal with as far with other GMs. That's why you can make so many trades. And if you're making trades and you're good at them, you're going to keep increasing your team every time. Trades are good. You can build assets. You can make mistakes as well, but he doesn't make as many mistakes as he wins. So that's why I have him as high as I do. At number 3, I have a GM from the MRFHL, and that's Todd Semenuk. So some of you guys may know him. He's Chicago Blackhawks general manager in that league. He's kind of what Joe Brodsky is to our league. He's been to that league for a long time. However, he's done it better. He was a team that won cup after cup and still had the best players, the best prospect list, as he just kept trading with guys and managing his assets. Their rules were a bit different to leave prospects on your list a lot longer. So he did, and he just kept stashing them back. He's filled it up. He's been a contender for about 10 straight years and just keeps it going. So that's why I have him so high. Another GM I wanted to mention for that league was Phil Grote. He was supposed to be my number 10. That's what happened there. He was the Rangers GM in the MRFHL, another rival of mine. Another guy kind of like an Aaron Brown, very similar. Number 2 is Jay Seal. I think he's the second best, most skilled GM I've ever seen. It's very tight that he wasn't number 1. He's our former Boston GM, the one that just stepped down. Unbelievable with numbers. He was also Arizona in the PHL. Turned that franchise around quickly. Just stepped down from both because he's actually hired by a junior team in the CHL. Just shows his knowledge, and he's carried that over into real life and got himself a real position in hockey. He did win a championship in the VHL. He would have likely won more the way his team is built, which is why we're being careful who takes it over. Says a lot about a GM right there. His contract negotiations, his power with the numbers. He's very good with this make-believe thing called Corsi that I have zero interest in or belief in. But he's good at it and knows it. It's probably what landed him the position he's gotten. So he gets a big props as my number 2 skilled GM ever. And then my number 1, he is not longer a member of the VHL. He's a PHL member. He is a lot less active than he used to be, and that's quite frankly because his kids' hockey has taken over his life. He stepped up and been the coach and touch with the AAA team for quite some time, and that's Ron Holmesy. Ron Holmes. I call him Holmesy. Really good guy, real life as well. Good guy. He won 3 of the first 4 PHL championships, I believe. So he was a dominant. Okay, but he was a dominant factor in the PHL in the first few years. Had an unbelievable team that was unbeatable virtually. He let it fade away as it got older. We haven't seen the skill of the rebuild, but I don't believe it's a matter of skill. I think it's a time issue. Really easy to trade with, really easy to talk to, and he does know hockey. Just his time is taken over. Thus, he isn't as busy in any of the leagues. So. But he, to me, is the best GM I've ever seen. So that's my list of best GMs. I have one more question, and this one's a tricky one. Tony asked me. It says shots fired. Who is the worst GM in the league? Really, really hard question. I just when I first got the question, I was very excited by it. I'm like, oh, this will be great, and it is a good question. But we don't have. There's no one that jumps out to me as an awful GM. I think the quality of the VHL has just gotten to a point that there just aren't guys there that are just easy to deal with. I could guess who some people would say. I will name a couple of guys I think could do a better job, but part of it's not even their fault. Now, you think back over the years at some of the awful GMs, Kelly in the Chicago in the PHL, she was an absolute disaster. As much as we all loved him, Greg DeFore, the Colorado GM comes in the PHL, great guy, awful GM, just made terrible, terrible trades, built a team of goons, things like that. Not a good GM. Junk. Everybody's heard the name Junk before. He was in our league. He was in PHL. Awful GM. We don't really have any of those guys in either league right now. That are terrible GMs. I think a terrible GM is somebody who maybe sits back too much and doesn't do a lot. And that's, I guess, where I'll go with the VHL. Because there are some teams that could do a lot more. If you're rebuilding, you've got to actually rebuild rather than just sit on it and wait. People aren't focused on lines, things like that. So, Tony's one I will actually partly name too. He's a very good GM as far as activity, sending in things, questioning things for the league, being involved. Absolutely involved and things like that. But he's made a lot of mistakes too. He took a run at it last year or the year before, took a run at the playoffs and it failed. Quickly had to turn before the deadline, trying to sell some of that stuff back off at a loss. So that falls into that. He's not a terrible GM at all, so I wouldn't put him in the worst GM, but that's something that puts you in a category where you've made some mistakes. Will, great guy as well. He inherited a pretty bad Calgary team, and it's still a pretty bad team. He could have done a lot more with it over the years. So part of that's not really his fault, but he also can't send lines with his computer situation, so that definitely plays into it. I don't know. Tough question. Joe Brodsky, I have him on the most skilled list, but I'm not sure his plan in the VHL is working. I looked at his assets there, and there's a lot of question marks and a lot to go yet, so you can't see till the product's finished. We don't really have worse GMs. Ones that are always in cap trouble. Joe, there you go. San Jose. Everybody would probably be naming him as a worst GM, but I don't see it. He dances in and out of trouble a lot, so he has the skills to be able to. Okay, put it away. Joe dances out of trouble a lot, so he has the skills to be able to do so. He gets himself in messes, loses control of his cap. Occasionally, we have to remind him such. That doesn't make him the worst GM, and I still love his activity level and commitment to the league. So, there isn't really a worse GM. So, nobody I've named there is a bad GM, and every one of them I would keep in mind. I'd want on as one of the first calls if I started a new league. So, everybody knows who I hate the most is the most hated guy, and that wouldn't be anyone in our league, and that's Chris from the PHL. Everybody knows how I feel about him as a person, and he's a guy who actually means well, but he has no idea how to deal with people, and just goes way overboard on everything. And so he's a guy I actually can't stand as far as these leagues go. And aside from that, that's really it. There isn't a guy. And even Chris, if he wasn't so psycho, I'd let him in the VHL. He has been removed once before back in the day. So, So, we got a pretty good group here. We're pretty lucky that way. And I hope it continues. We shall see. But with that, I guess I should wrap this up. We don't have a lot else to discuss. Just if you have a GM for Boston, send them my way. like to get them in. I really like to have that team have a GM here in the next couple of weeks. The trade deadline coming up, expansion coming up. We don't want to be running that team as a league when that's going on. The other thing, one last thing, if we could. I'm up to about 5 GMs right now who aren't able to send lines and are PMing me their lines rather. And while I've been able to do it and can do it and I don't mind doing it too much, it's becoming more and more often and more guys are doing it. So if you can please find a way, if you don't have a computer, you don't have a computer, no problem. I'll deal with it, not a big deal. If you have a computer and you're having an error problem or something like that, let me know what the error is. If I can't figure it out, I'll send it to Wolf. He can deal with that stuff. He's really good at that stuff. That's it for that. But if we can get them guys sending lines with the program, with the client, it'd be a lot better for the league as a whole. And it saved me a bit of time every day as well. I guess that's about it. I know I take a lot of shots at Wolf, but I'd like to thank him for everything he's done over the last while, in the last few years, with the simming. Obviously, our web management, the server is owned by Wolf. I don't know if any of you guys know that, but he actually owns the server, pays for the server, looks after that. Every time I screw something up on the forum when I try to fix something or change something, he fixes it for me properly. So I want to thank him for that. And we do a lot of talking via text on things for the league. Anything that happens, we're pretty well. Him and I are discussing it, and then we also then take it to the staff for their opinions. But you guys probably aren't aware how often him and I are talking, trying to figure things out for the league and bettering the league. So him and I always seem to pick each other up too when there's something going on in our lives where we don't have the time to commit. We'll pick up the other guy's slack. So as much as I rub the guy, I just want to thank him as well for keeping this league the way it is. So with that said, I guess we'll wrap it up and we'll chat to you all for the next one here. Once our cap expands and we start getting some deals flying in, we'll get another video going. It'd be nice to hit on one like we did last year, where I happened to be doing a video at the same time all the trades were flying in. I think we had a day with about 18 deals in it, and most of them occurred while I was recording. So that was a lot of fun, and I'd like to do that. If I just happen to get that lucky, it'd be great. If not, so be it. We'll do some trade talks, get some guys moving around the league. And I'd love to do some more discussions on air with guys calling in. So if you're interested in that, let me know. I'd be happy to bring you on and go through an interview with you. That's about it for now. Thanks for listening.